crisis. And as I understand this crisis, I believe it's exactly what we've been talking about, this idea of no limits finally being challenged by the middle of your life, and recognizing that you indeed do have limits, and that you can't just trailblaze, which is of course how I see it personally. Is there a concept of midlife crisis culturally in modern Japan, modern China? And if so, is it related to their new understandings of what it is to be human and what it is to succeed as there's further interaction between cultures? Or is there no such concept in the East?
Darwin, you want to answer that?
Well, I think that there is a general feeling of uneasiness in Japan. Nothing to do with the most recent disasters, but again and again I've talked to Japanese, or not in their 20s, but perhaps in their 30s or 40s, feeling that there is a crisis of some sort, that Japan is finished. Or there's a tendency towards a kind of masochism even, of saying, for example, in the past we were unhappy because the Americans were insisting on things that we didn't want to do. For example, import more American beef and oranges, or things of that sort. But now it's worse because they're not paying any attention to us at all. Instead of Japan bashing, it's Japan passing. You pass over Japan on the way to China. That the interest in now is shifted to, and so I'm frequently told, I'm still teaching, that there's no interest in Japan in American universities anymore. That all the interest that existed in the past has all shifted to China. That doesn't have to be true. It's in fact, it's completely untrue. My class this year is twice as big as it was last year. So this is not a sign of a decreasing interest in Japan. But this pleasurable masochism of thinking we are now in a crucial state, the things that we won with such great difficulty, the recognition that Japanese goods are the best in the world, is now being threatened by China, which can make the same sort of things that we do and much cheaper. This kind of uncertainty, I think, affects people. Doesn't necessarily affect them in their daily lives, but affects their spiritual outlook, and is the opposite of the feeling that existed, let's say, 15 years ago, when the characteristic story was the Japanese tourist in Germany being kept waiting outside of some castle and told they had to wait for an hour, saying, "I'll buy it." So, that attitude has disappeared.
You're going to retire, are you not? That's the rumor, is you're going to retire to Japan. Why would you do that? Or why are you planning to do that?
Sorry?
Why are you doing that?
Why am I doing what?
Retiring to Japan.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example of why. I was taken ill this spring, or not this spring, at the end of December, the beginning of January, and I was taken to a Japanese hospital. And the kindness I was shown there was unbelievable. Everybody in the hospital was eager for me to get better. People didn't have any connection with me. Nurses would never see me, just knew that I was there. And I felt a warmth that was the opposite of every American hospital I've ever been to, where they say, "Come back in 6 weeks." That's what they told me, literally. And the human quality there is so appealing to me.
You see her head nodding?
Excuse me?
Did you notice her head was bobbing in total agreement with you?
Well, and the shock of buying something in New York and the person not saying thank you at the end. That's a shock which seems like nothing at all, but it is a shock.
And you say thank you and they say don't
and-
mention it.
So it's a much more human way of living that I think is for someone approaching the end of his life. This is terribly important that people be nice to you.
Okay, great.
Will you be in Tokyo?
In Tokyo, yes, and in Tokyo, I suppose it's the least of the kind that I'm describing, because people are in a big city there, impersonal anyway, but even there, it's not like here. People are interested in you, and they may be too interested. You don't want to know everything about yourself, but there's a warmth in the society which I don't find anywhere else.
And you don't find that anywhere in the other parts of Asia, in Korea or Thailand or China?
I don't know them well enough. I have visited most of the countries of Asia, and I've spent some time in China teaching. And they're interesting to me, but because I can speak Japanese, and I don't speak any other Asian language, I feel much closer to the Japanese. I don't. If I knew all the different countries of Asia as well as I know Japan, I perhaps would have other ideas. There might be some other country. One of my colleagues here at Columbia has become enamored of Bhutan, and spends all of his time in Bhutan.
Hard to get in.
But that may be better than Japan, but since I don't know Bhutan, I certainly don't know Bhutanese, I'm quite happy with Japan.
You realize that Donald's answer to the question is very anecdotal. I could cite the experience of my daughter who died last Thanksgiving. After a long struggle with cancer, and the treatments that she had in the hospital in Palo Alto was just terrific. She kept testifying to how much care they gave her. And she couldn't really afford to pay for very much, but it was all charitable care.
Well, I take it
She
back.
could speak just the same way you do about her husband.
Maybe just
I
New
should've-
York
I
that's
should've
the issue.
specified. In New York instead of saying United States.
Stanford Hospital is not like.
I feel like extremity is part of the human condition. I mean, as a history major, when I look at any culture, I see violence, I see fear, I see compassion in all cultures and in all contexts and in all chronologies. Again, the material resources and the specific things that they're working with may be different, but they're inconsequential, really. I mean, if you want to look generally, speaking of humans generally, I think that it's actually a constant struggle to suppress the desire to go to extremes. And if you look at philosophies from the East and West, there is this understanding of moderation as being something valuable, right? I'm currently taking an introductory Hinduism class, and one of the quotes, I'm going to ruin this pronunciation, it's Ekum Sat Vipra Bahula Vidanti, which translates as there is one truth, but scholars speak of it in many different ways. So just, I guess, to kind of wrap things up for today, I really think we should go to the ground, look from the bottom up, understand that there is a common human condition and human experience that we're all trying to gauge and we're all trying to understand. And if we respect moderation, all moderation is that understanding, is that respect.